Rapid as had been Villefort's glance, it had served to give him an idea of the man he was about to interrogate. He had recognized intelligence in the high forehead, courage in the dark eye and bent brow, and frankness in the lips that showed a set of pearly teeth. Villefort's first impression was favorable, but he had been so often warned to mistrust first impulses that he applied the maximum to the impression, forgetting the difference between the two words. He stifled, therefore, the feelings of compassion that were rising, composed his features, and sat down, grim and somber, at his desk. An instant after, Dante entered. He was pale, but calm and collected, and saluting his judge with easy politeness, looked around for a seat, as if he had been in Monsieur Morel's salon. It was then that he encountered for the first time Villefort's look, that look peculiar to the magistrate who, while seeming to read the thoughts of others, betrayed nothing of his own. "Who and what are you?" demanded Villefort, turning over a pile of papers containing the information relative to the prisoner that a police agent had given to him on his entry, and that, already, in an hour's time, had swelled to voluminous proportions, thanks to the corrupt espionage of which the accused is always made the victim. "My name is Edmond Dantès," replied the young man calmly. "I am mate of the Ferrand, belonging to Messieurs Morel and Son." "Your age?" continued Villefort. 19, replied Dantès. "What were you doing at the moment you were arrested?" We're talking a lot this chapter about Villefort's performance, and it's kind of subtle and kind of not that we get a little insight into his character. Like, he has these initial impulses, and yet he's choosing to stifle them. He's choosing to act against them, to put up a very specific front for the people that he's interacting with. We see that here as Dante's entering. Villefort has a very favorable impression of Dante. And then he goes, "But no, I know from experience and from being told over and over again, you can't trust your eyes, you can't trust appearances, you have to go by fact, or you have to go by what's presented in front of you, so shut it down. We're not going to be influenced by that." And Dante here, now, I've gone into a little bit before of being interrogated myself, and there's a maybe it's just my own personal hook into what Dante is going to here. Certainly, I've not been interrogated to this degree. I've not been arrested and brought in somewhere to be asked questions, but there is this like very specific kind of nervousness that overcomes you, where you want to answer questions honestly, and you want to be polite when you don't know exactly what's going on. You want to be of a help, especially if you are innocent. But there's a nervousness that comes with it. And you see this a lot, I think, when that nervousness is then used against someone who is actually innocent. I really responded at the time to that Netflix show, Making a Murder, and you watch that just traumatic and horrible interrogation scene of the young kid, and like you start, I mean, the interrogation here in the story hasn't even picked up yet, but I can see where this nervousness that is coming through of Dante, despite his politeness, despite his, trying to be calm, can be used against him. But I guess I'm speculating, and we got a lot of chapter left to go, so why don't we keep this one short, since there's not much more to comment on within what we're seeing, and just continue forward. So, short one. We'll see you here tomorrow for more of The Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, bye! The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.